Is the new 2025 Infiniti QX80 Autograph the best luxury third row vehicle? We've increased 50 horsepower, 103 pound-feet of torque. That's 27% more acceleration according to Infiniti, with 12% better MPGs. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm gonna go over some pros and cons, the problem that I have with the refresh QX80, and compare this against the competition. We have been waiting for over a decade for this refresh, which is something well needed, starting with enhancements like 25% greater torsion stiffness for the frame, 57% greater lateral stiffness versus the preceding QX80, air suspension that will lower by 1.2 inches at speed for aerodynamic improvements. When parked, it can lower by 2.8 inches. And the off-road setting raises the air suspension by up to 2.1 inches. And the massive refresh grille that integrates into the multi-functional LED daytime runnings and headlights with steering response headlights and sequential welcome lights for the Autograph. Front and rear parking sensors, a 360-degree reverse camera, and a first 3D camera, which you're not going to receive that on the new QX60. Kind of a flaw that I feel that they should have given on both trims. Underneath the hood has changed the whole ball game because we no longer have a naturally aspirated V8. We now have a 3.5-liter V6 twin turbo producing 450 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque paired to a 9-speed automatic transmission. The suspension, the engine, towing is still at 8,500 pounds, which is pretty class-leading considering the segment it's in. But when we're thinking about vehicles that it should compete against, like Acura, they don't have something this size. Lexus, they have several variants this size, but for third row, you would probably want to go into the TX variant, in which this is going to be priced higher, putting itself in class segments like Cadillac, BMW, Mercedes, Audi, and Land Rover. Audi will not have a vehicle that's going to be as long as this. And because you're at around 112 grand all in, this becomes a sweet spot if you are looking at Range Rover, because the autobiography will start around this MSRP and you're going to get more features here. As for BMW, it will start almost 100 grand. So you're starting to see the savings that trickle in, but it has increased in price. And what do you get with the Autograph? 22-inch wheels. But you can receive this with the Lux in the Sensory as well. The Pure will start with a 20-inch wheel. The significant difference really is what's inside the vehicle, as well as the gloss black for half of the vehicle. With flush door handles and improved safety with predicted forward collision warning, forward emergency braking with pedestrian detection, rear automatic braking, rear cross traffic alert, blind spot intervision, which means that the vehicle will kind of take over and push you back in the lane, as well as trailer blind spot warning, lane departure prevention. So once you start thinking about everything that Infiniti has thrown into this refresh, is this the best vehicle in class? LED taillights, this is 300 different LED lights that form a piano key that will mimic the front grille. So I think it's cool that they have implemented these styling updates, as well as a digital rear view mirror and cleaning up the rear windshield, because the windshield wiper is also tucked underneath. You'll have a dual shark fin antenna similar to the Range Rover Land Rover. The lower is going to have two distinct areas that's going to look like exhaust, but it's not, because they're tucked underneath, with the spare tire still tucked underneath the vehicle. So you still have a practical yet luxury vehicle. But then the problem that comes into play is the increase in price. Is it worth going from the naturally aspirated V8, which was bulletproof, typically you're getting 300,000–400,000 miles on the vehicle, to go to a twin turbo that's going to have more horsepower, more torque, better MPGs, better styling elements, and a electronic suspension? I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments about it. Power liftgate standard on all trims, going into 22 cubic feet of storage behind the third row, with a home plug, with some bag holders here on both sides. You can lower and raise the suspension. Check out how high it can go. So it can make it easier for any type of loading. Underneath the floor does not receive a lot of storage, unfortunately. To fold the third row to get 59 cubic feet, you have to just push the buttons here. Now it's on one side, left and right. It'll fold at a 60-40 split electronically. Do the same thing for the captain seats in the second row to maximize cargo to 101 cubic feet of storage. It does fold down flat, but it takes a little bit longer. That's typical for a $100,000 car. We need to go inside, start it up, so you can hear that twin turbo V6 exhaust note. The key fob for the new QX80. Deployable door handles going into 14-way power seat adjustment for the driver and passenger. Heated, ventilated, massage, dotted aniline leather, 1200 watts, 24 speakers through Klipsch sound system. That starts on the Sensory trim. Memory for the driver and passenger. And you can already see the refresh in the interior. Let's fire it up. I would be lying to you if I didn't feel that it is a lot more upscale in the QX80, starting with ambient lighting, Infiniti badging. It's going to go into more of a tech-driven style with 2 infotainment screens in one panel. And yes, this side is touch. Dual 14.3-inch screens, and we have a touch with wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio, Google Assist, Google Play, Amazon Alexa, Infiniti Personal Assistant, and check out the dash cams. This is a pretty cool feature. So you can see in the front and the rear, as you can take a picture, you can change the camera so that way you can see the interior, how you do it. And you can record this as well, which this is not a vehicle that I would see somebody doing Uber in, but if you have family in the vehicle and you're concerned about something, you could do that, or just simply make a TikTok video. Why not? The interior colors, 64 different colors, which is something that Infiniti should have done a long time ago. And the way they do it is actually by seasons. So that is pretty cool. You can change that configuration as well. You can make it a little bit more bright or less, depending on the way you like it. Put it into reverse with a 360-degree reverse camera, full trajectory for the front and the rear. You have different camera positions that you can see all around the vehicle. You can also zoom into these. I like how intuitive the 360-degree reverse camera is, because you do not receive this on the QX60, unfortunately. You also have a 3D view, so you can go all around the vehicle just by clicking these buttons. You can also push here, and it will go around the vehicle for you, so you can see any imperfections, as well as the first, which is right here. It is where you can't see the hood, but you can see everything in the front. So it just makes it a little bit more easy because it is a big vehicle. The gauge cluster is configurable. It is a digital reader as well, and the multi-function steering wheel can also use your buttons to go over the infotainment screen. So you don't have to use everything there, as well as adding the navigation, and you can change the whole design layout. So this is the dynamic. You can have it more like an elegant look. And you can also change that to be enhanced. It's just a lot more cleaned up the way Infiniti should be, with a leather wrap steering wheel, Infiniti badging because we're in the autograph, cross stitch. I do like the 2-spoke design because it is in. It's very retro. Pro Pilot Assist 2.1 when you go into the Sensory and the autograph with the paddle shifts. 2 moonroofs with a power sunshade. Unfortunately, there isn't one for the third row, as well as interior cameras that will be standard on the autograph only, a digital rear view mirror. And this is laser ultra cut aluminum inlays with the open wood pores, a separate 9-inch screen that's derived for the climate control for the front and the rear, driving mode select, physical buttons to put it in gear, and you still kind of have a little bit of storage for maybe a smaller phone or the key fob, with a full pass-through and a 12-volt charger. Open this up, wireless charging, standard USB ports, cup holders. Open this, and you got a cool box, as well as a little bit of storage right here in front of it. You can also turn that off. Check out the leg space that you have. It is a ton. Whether you're a passenger or a driver, headroom, they do an excellent job with interior space. Door panel and dash configuring together nicely. The contrast stitching, you get that laser cut aluminum inlays, perforated interior, one touch up and down for the windows, and a long storage pocket with the beverage holder carved out. For the second row, that is the space that you got. To go into captain seat configuration, grab handle, upgraded headliner because we're in the autograph, touchscreen in the center cluster for the 8-way power seat adjustment that you can do here, or you can just do it here with the heated, ventilated, biometrical seats, and massage seats for the second row, which is awesome because no vehicle at all offers this except for Infiniti. Cup holders here, a little bit of storage down here, 12-volt, no home plug, storage behind both of the front seats. And the reason why I have so much leg space is because it's 17% more than the outgoing interior for the second row. It's headroom, plenty if you're 6'3". No sunshades though. That is definitely a con to me. The ambient lighting comes into the back, the same size storage pocket, but all the gloss black. Let me know what your thoughts are. You will have a lot of fingerprints, and this is a vehicle that you're going to be driving with a family. So I kind of wish they would have maybe stayed with more of the aluminum, added some carbon fiber because we're at a 6-figure price. I'm gonna push the button again. There we go. Once you hear the beep beep, that means it's going to open up. Electronically moving forward, it goes faster than a BMW, thank God, to fit 3 more in the back. Because we're in the autograph, you're getting power seats back here, power ports on both sides with heated third row seats, and this is only found on the autograph. Headroom is not going to be an issue. I'm going to just show you leg space sitting into the center to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. It's going to be a little bit difficult if the seats are basically all the way back, but leg and shoulder space isn't too bad, but it's just very simplified and plain back here. But even though it has increased about 28% more for the third row, I just feel like we lose a little bit more headroom, so it does make it feel a little bit more tighter than the last gen. 50 horsepower more, 103 pound-feet of torque more. That's night and day difference out of this twin turbo V6 3.5 liter opposed to the V8 that we have lost. Gas consumption's not a huge difference though, 16 over 19, and the only way you can get the rear wheel drive configuration is going into the Pure in the Luxe. I feel the Sensory really unlocks the most features because you're only losing maybe 5 or 6 different features opposed to going into the autograph. Pricing is going to be similar, but you will be getting the massage seats in the second row. So that right there probably would say, you know, I'll go into the autograph. Visibility is great, electronic controlled suspension, so it should be smooth. And it is. 9-speed automatic transmission. And it's a lot more quiet. Infiniti is saying about 3 to 4 decimals more so than the prior gen. And I believe it, because this is on 22-inch wheels. And it has a very butter smooth ride to it as well. When you go into the autograph, one thing people neglect to say in reviews is the fact that you have 0 gravity seats, which means you don't feel any pressure points in your body. There isn't any cushion extensions, but it's not really needed because your knees are not going to be sitting up in the air, hence 0 gravity. It's also going to be more comfortable. Maneuverability, about the same. It's a large vehicle. It feels large, it feels wide, but I like the dominance that projects from the new QX80. However, it's going to take me to some pros and cons. You've heard a ton of pros through the interior and exterior of this vehicle, so we're going to just dive into the cons, in which, is it too late for this refresh? That's really the big question that I have. I feel this should have been done a few years back, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, so it'd be a little bit more into the segment line that it's at. And then the pricing has increased to over 6 figures, which in the prior gen, it did touch a 6-figure when you get into the unlimited, but they usually didn't keep a lot of those on the lot, so the vehicle would be a lot less in price than this, even though you're getting a lot more in this vehicle compared to the prior gen. I dislike the deployable handles. It's something that will more than likely go bad, and they do have some recalls on them, which you have to take your vehicle back to Infiniti. In most cases, they've already fixed it. It's a very simple fix to it. They literally just kind of shave it a little bit because the plastic kind of hits the door area. But these are things that should have been fixed, considering we waited so long for the refresh. I like the tech style, the massage seats, but I dislike that they still don't give the massage mechanism for the butt area, because if you go into the Germans, the whole seat is massage. But going here, you get massage in the second row, which nobody gives. I have it in sport mode. As soon as the light turns green, here we go. Gets up and goes fine. I mean, even in the vehicle when it came out years ago, it was segment leading in performance and towing capabilities. Sadly, it has declined over the years because everyone else is going up more. However, this is still one of the best in class. As you get up to a higher speed, it's still quiet. It's still a smooth ride. And I mean, you can see from the camera how high up we are. And we're in sport mode right now. So we're not even in, this is the lowest setting that you can get. Now it also alters to get you better aerodynamics and MPGs. So it's kind of continuously adjusting to make it a little bit more pleasurable and better economical speaking, which is definitely a pro. The screen layout is nice. It is more or less in the dash because they've actually raised the dash up. So it's a lot more seamless. I'm not a huge fan of all of the screen configuration. I feel it's going like Audi, and Audi is getting a little bit outdated, but this does fit the time that we're in because everybody's doing a one panel, two screen layout. Just this third screen, maybe just integrate some buttons. I would be all right with that. Doesn't really feel too boaty. I mean, it does everything that it needs to do, going that extra step, which you're not going to receive any of this when you're going Acura because they don't make a variant that's going to be as big as this. Going into Lexus, it's going to have a lot more plastic aesthetics. I feel Infiniti does a better job polishing off the interior, except for this center cluster because it's all hard materials. In the pass-through, it's not such a deep pocket considering it's such a big vehicle. Performance wise, Infiniti unlocked a lot of horsepower and torque. I applaud them for going that extra step because now when you are considering competition like the Germans, you're getting a lot of value going into Infiniti. And here's that performance. Let's rock and roll. And the big problem that I have is you don't have soft closed doors. That's not even a feature. Power sunshades for the second or third row. It does feel a little bit heavier when you're mashing on the gas pedal as well as mashing on the brake. But as for turbo lag, you don't really have that much of it because it's a twin turbo, so they do a pretty decent job with the way everything is integrated. So we're going around 30-ish. But you can see it just kind of pushes you back. I mean, 516 pound-feet of torque, that is quite a bit because nobody in the class that competes against this at its base price will be similar to this. But is it the best luxury third row SUV? For me, I think Infiniti has went above and beyond. I would have liked to see a Red Sport 400, but at the performance level that we have, it definitely is a home run. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like. And I'd like to thank Infiniti Clearwater for giving us this 2025 Infiniti QX80 autograph for our car review.